Hello guys, so in this video we are going to understand how we can implement the storage functionality using Firebase in Flutter. And to do that we are going to first create a new project in Firebase. So I've just created a new project as storage in Firebase, and I'm just going to enable the storage. So get started and start in production. Next, I just don't want to change it and leave it as it is. So it's creating a bucket for us. Okay, for some reason it's not like, let me just refresh. Okay, it's refreshing itself. So let me change the rules. By the way, these rules are not so good, but it's just for the tutorial. So yeah, we can work on it. So in the project overview, we don't have actually an app that is connected to our Firebase. So what we're gonna do is that I'm going to click on Flutter. Mind you, this process requires the Firebase CLI. So I've already done that, and if you don't know how to do it, I have a video over it. So I'll just link to it, and I'll just click on next. Use this, go to the CMD and paste it here, enter. So it's resolving dependencies and it will activate the Flutter Fire CLI. So yeah, it's done. Now what we want to do is that we want to go into the project folder where our project resides, and in the terminal we want to paste. Okay, for some reason my terminal is not working. Okay, so in here I'm just going to run this command, and it will basically register my project with the Firebase. So it's showing me that I can basically connect the project or the specifically the app to the Firebase. So it's asking for that. So I'll just click enter because I just wanted to register all the for all the platforms. So yeah, enter, and it will basically register the Android, iOS, macOS and web with Firebase. So I'll just come back when it's done. Okay, so my app is registered finally. So I'm just going to close it, and so it's giving me an error because I haven't added the Firebase options in here, sorry, the Firebase core in here. So let's just add these few packages that we are going to need for to actually implement it. So the first one is the Firebase core. Okay, so the Firebase core, the Firebase storage, to actually add the storage in our app, and the third is the file picker. The file picker is basically a package that we will use to open our file store app, or the storage of our app or the storage of our device, and get the files from there. So yeah, so it's just getting it. And if we go to the Firebase, we need to add these two lines. So in the main, before the run app, we will use it and make it as an async function, and copy these two lines. Okay, and before that we have to enable the widgets flutter binding dot ensure initialize. So this is done. I'm just going to run my app in my emulator and come back when it's done. Okay, so our app is up and running. These are the errors because my emulator is a pinhole camera in the center, so it's causing some issues because of it. So we can just leave it off now because I'll change my emulator later. So as of now, what we want is that I'm going to create a new folder as screens, and screens I'm going to name it as home screen the dot, and in the home screen I'm going to name it as home screen. Okay, and add material package to place a scaffold in here, and in the center I'm going to make a button as upload image, and it will be an elevated button. So this will be an elevated button with the child text. So this text will be upload, and in here I want to use the file picker package. So what we want over here is that let's just make a variable as result and use the await file picker dot platform dot pick files. So it will basically allow us to use native file picker. So we will use the file picker, and in here what we want is that first we don't want to use the multiple files. We don't want the user to select the multiple files, so we're just going to make it false, and we can specify the types as well as file types dot custom, or you know, it depends on us, and we can just make it as file type dot any. In any file we can, you know, we can upload any file from our phone, but yeah, I'm just going to keep it like this. And then what we want is that we want to actually upload this result to the Firebase. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that first I'm just going to check that if the result is equals to null. So if it's null, it means that the user opened the file picker, but he didn't select any image. So we can just print error, or we can just print as no file selected. So we can do this, and before that I'm just going to make it error, so we can basically check it in the console. So yeah, so we have done this, and if we have some files, we can actually return the path. So we can get the path from the results, so it will be result. Okay, my bad, I'm just okay. So in here we will use the result dot files dot single dot path. So the files can be nullable. Okay, the I guess the result can be nullable. So yeah, so the next thing we want is that we want to get the file name. So to get the file name, we will basically use the file name and results dot files dot single and dot name. So this is done. So the next thing we want is that we can print it, but I just don't need think that we should. So yeah, so the next thing we want is that we will pass in this path and this file name to our storage, or to our storage service. So we are going to make a new file as storage service dot. So this file will basically be responsible for actually implementing the storage features. So we can just add as class Firebase, or we can just storage service. We can name it as storage service, and in here first we want a reference to our Firebase storage. So for that we are going to use the Firebase storage, make it as Firebase storage is equals to Firebase storage dot, we want to get the instance. So in here the next thing we want is that I'll make a function. So the function will basically be upload file. So the upload file function will basically be a future function, because it will be an async function. And in here we can make it as future. The return type will be void, and we can make it as upload file. So the upload file will basically, okay, my bad. So there will be two variables, string file name and string file path. So now the next thing will be that we have to make this function an async function, and in here we will make use of the dart.io and make it as file, provided the file path. So file path, it will get us the file, and then we will use the storage reference, await Firebase storage dot ref, and in the ref we want to actually pass files. So in here we will use this, and then we will pass the file name. So the file name will basically be responsible for setting the file name, and then what we want to push is that we want to put a file. So the file will be the file that we provide. Okay, so this is done, and we can make it in try catch, because if some error occurs we will know for sure what was the error. So we can log it, and we basically error, and I'll just print it as E. So this is done. So in here what we want is that I'm just going to make the reference for our storage service. So we'll make it as storage service is equals to storage service. So this will be a reference for our class, and now we can use this and put service dot upload file, the file name and the path. We are going to give it the path. Okay, so okay, for some, okay, it's the path can be null. So okay, and let me just make it in the else. So if we get some error in the file, we can just basically check it. So this is done, and now what we want is that in the storage service we can put it as when then, and then we can log that completed, or we can say it as uploaded. Okay, okay, so let me just check what's the error in here. So apparently, okay, this is the error. So if I just provide it, so in here what I've done is that instead of my home page I've given the home screen, and after that I'm just going to reload my app, click on the upload. So the home screen is this, and it has the button as upload. So when I click on the upload, it's asking me for a permission to basically access our storage, so I'm just going to allow it. So after allowing it, I've had these three images. So this is Audi download and images.jpg. So I'm just going to click on it and click on one image, and let's just wait for it. So I guess we don't have any error. So in here I'm just going to go to the storage, continue to console, check the storage, whereas there is any file in the storage. So we have a file in here. Okay, so there is some issue with it. So what's actually an issue is that we had to put it like this. So if I just remove it and re-upload from here, so let me just reload my app, upload, and click on images, check my files. Okay, so you can see that there is a folder as files, and in that we have these images.jpg showing up. So we can upload another file from here. You just click on it, and we can select the Audi image. Okay, select, then go to the Firebase, refresh it, and see. Okay, so the Audi image is also showing up. So the upload part is done. Now we want to basically list these files that are in our storage to our device. So we can create a screen as list screen dot and in the in the list screen we are going to create it as list screen, remove it. Okay, material, and I'm just going to copy the code from the home screen because it will be the same code, or here we can just remove the on press with center as well, and in here we will return a list view, or no, we will return a future builder because the future builder will basically be used to get the data from the backend. So it will take a future as well as a builder. So the builder will be context and snapshot, and we will have to check that if the no we can say it as if connection state is equals to connection state dot waiting, and we have to check it in the snapshot. Basically snapshot dot connection state is equals to connection state dot waiting, and we don't have any data in the snapshot. Snapshot dot has data is null. So we will have to return a circular progress indicator that will basically denote that we are actually fetching the data right now, and else we can say that if snapshot dot has data, we can just return a list view dot builder. So the list we can turn, okay, list view dot builder. The builder will be context slash index. So it will return list style, and the list style will only show the title, which will be the name of the file. So let's make a function that will return the name of the files in the database. So let's just go into the storage service, and in here we will make a function as list files, and it will basically be a future function that will return list results. Okay, and then we will use it as list files. This will be the name of our function, and it will be an async function basically. So what we want over here is that we want to get the results, so we can get it as list results is equals to await Firebase storage dot ref. So the reference that we have is the files, so we will put it this, and then we want to use list all. Okay, so this will basically provide us with the results. Okay, we have an error over here. Okay, can we assign a value? So we will have to return list results. Okay, then what we want is that we will do list results dot items dot for each, and then what we can do is that we can, or we can just return the list results and list results, and then when we get the result from this list files function, we can show the results in there. So in the future we can do is, I'm just going to create a reference for storage service just like we did in the home screen. So it will be a storage service is equals to a storage service instance, and then what we will do is storage service dot list files. So the list files will return the text, the list of all the files in the particular folder that we have asked for. So now the next thing is that we can get the name basically from here. So it will be a snapshot dot data. So we will get the index, and then we want to get the name, so we can just provide it with the item count. So the item count will be snapshot dot data dot length. Okay, dot items dot length. So it can be null, so basically yeah. So then what we want is that items, we can just directly get it in here, so we will use items. We don't actually have to use the index in here, and the items, and then we will provide it with the index dot then name. So okay, what's the error in here? Yeah, we have to actually wrap it in a text widget. So the text widget will basically take this, and we have an error in here, so this is sorted out. Okay, so if you see in here, it shows that we might get an error because there can be a state where the connection state cannot be waiting, and the snapshot doesn't have data as well. So in that case we will just return a text saying some error occurred. So we'll just save it, and in the home screen, I'm just going to create another button, and this button will basically move us to the list screen. So here I'm just going to use another elevated button, copy it and paste it, move to next, move to list. Okay, so in here we don't have to use the on press, and we will just use the navigator dot push and use the context, and in the route give the material page route context, sorry, my bad, and the context we will just provide it as list screen. Okay, so move to list, you can see this. So it's, the UI is a bit bad, but we can actually see that we have two files in there, and if we go to our storage we can see that Audi and images.jpg, we have two files in here. I'm not just like um, setting the UI, but it's working. So if we go back, upload another file, it will be downloads.jpg. So if we move to list, we can see that we have three files now. So that's how you can get the files in the storage through Flutter.